All right. Relax, guys. It's okay. All right. Okay. Welcome to our latest episode of Ada Angels. We have two new friends here. So, you know me, Amanda and Alex. So, give us a little introduction, guys, like your name and your pool and all the things. Ready? Go.
All right, I'll start. So I'm Dylan, and our pool is the VIPER Stakepool, and we started last year in the ITN, and so we've been around for a while. And I run the pool with my friend Willie because it's a little bit too much to keep up with everything for one person. So yeah.
So what is the origin story here? Like your partnership and pool's name, like how did you guys meet?
So we actually went to school together, in engineering school. And then we also worked together, and we've been neighbors for several years.
Okay.
In different neighborhoods.
Yeah.
That's so great.
Yeah. So we keep they moved next to us, and then they moved, and we moved next to them again. So but
it's kind of weird.
Yeah. Funny how it worked out that way. But yeah, so the name VIPER actually was the true origin of that name was when ever since I was a kid, I really liked the Dodge Viper, the cars. And so I always wanted to have a company that where the company car could be a Dodge Viper. So when it's in crypto for me, instead of the Win Lambo, it's Win Viper. So that's
nice. So you're gonna get two Vipers, like one for each of you? That's the goal?
Well, yeah, we each have to have one. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. All right.
So that was kind of part of the origin of the name, which was for something I started a long time ago, and then I had like the domain for and stuff, so ended up using that name for the stake pool. So
nice. All right, that's a cute origin story. You guys just like following each other. So like after school, after all the moves and stuff, you guys work together. So what is the day job?
So my background is I got a bachelor's in computer engineering and then a master's in astronautical engineering. And I do research and development for satellites and high reliability ground systems. So I spend a lot of time programming and working on Linux servers. So it's a great carryover to running a stake pool.
Okay. So you're familiar with that environment. Very cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so my background is kind of similar, and so I have a undergrad, master's, and PhD in electrical engineering, and so my area is antennas. I did a lot of antenna design for radar systems, and so I actually do some development in like the space area, like Willie does, and a lot of Linux and programming stuff for doing radar system and antenna modeling and simulations, that sort of thing.
Wow, that's pretty impressive. I mean, my bachelor's is only biomedical engineering. You guys are doing like space shit.
Spaceship, yeah.
Right.
So I know like you have created a lot of different types of content for Cardano. How did you get into Cardano? Tell us about the content that you've created.
Okay, so I got into Cardano, early 2018. I was still working on my PhD at that time, and so I was really interested in Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies and stuff, and I was doing a lot of research, and I found someone on some channel mentioned Cardano, and so I was like, okay, I'll check it out. And I started reading about it, watching Charles' videos, and as someone that was doing research and publishing papers and that sort of thing, the scientific rigor behind Cardano was like really interested me. And so I was like, wow, this looks like something where people are really trying to do it right, and having a, you know, a research approach. And so then I was talking to my neighbor Willie, and I was like, hey, you should check this Cardano stuff out. And so I don't know if he believed me at first, but then he eventually got really excited about it. And pretty much ever since I was learning about Cardano, I wanted to run a stake pool. And so I was just kind of constantly like watching that and learning about it, because I was interested in, I was doing like some GPU mining and stuff, and I was really interested in staking and running a pool. So when it came time for the test net, I jumped in, and then after a few weeks of trying to keep my nodes up, the whole Jormungandr thing, where you couldn't hardly keep the nodes running, and you know, and everything. It was kind of the Wild West, that I was getting up in the night to make sure we made blocks and stuff. So Willie and I were working out because he has a home gym. So we were working out. I was like, would you like to help me with this? Because it's a little too much for me. So that's how we got going with that. Is that accurate, Willie?
Yeah, at least back then in the ITN, we had leader logs, so we knew when slots would be, right? Like the launch of Selly was so stressful because you didn't know if you were missing blocks when you got your node set up, right? And it could be like, it was several days before we made a block when we were going, and we were worried we weren't even connected.
Oh my gosh, you guys. Okay. When did I get my, I set up my thing, got my pool cert up like August 1, right? Like right after the Shelly launch. And what was that, like Epoch 211 or something like that, right?
Yep.
I didn't get my first block till 219. Like,
oh my gosh.
So much waiting, so much wondering if I was configured properly, so much stress, so much calls to Kyle and Adam. Like seriously, pulling my hair out, like wanting to quit, like all the things, like so stressful. And now like we have leader logs now, like so I think that's taken a lot of stress off of people. But
sure.
yeah, that was not nice.
So we also work on a number of community projects. So the biggest thing we've been working on currently is adafolio.com. So we're launching that in preparation for multi-delegation, where you can delegate to multiple pools from one wallet. So our website lets users go create portfolios of stake pools that they'd like to split their stake across, and then you can share that on social media, and so people can take lists that other people have made and delegate to it. So we have one of our first pools was actually made by Shweta. She made a Ladies of Cardano that all of your pools are in. We also have a Cardano developers list that's got several developers from the pools behind Pool Tool and Ada Pools and all those different services that help the community. But anyone can go and make any number. There's lists of charity pools, bare metal pools, that sort of thing. So would really love people to go check out the site, make your own portfolios, and share them. We also we have a Cardano tools Python library. So it's kind of an alternative to just using Bash for setting up a stake pool. You can interact with the Cardano blockchain with Python instead, which is a little more accessible for people that aren't programmers. And then we also provide Docker containers that already have the Cardano node built, so you can save quite a bit of time setting up a pool. You don't have to wait 2 hours for the source code to build, and you can easily update your pool as it goes. So you just pull in a new container, and now you've got the latest version of Cardano node. And then we do posts every epoch about the delegation analysis. So we've been looking at how the delegation has changed as we become more decentralized. So we're slowly seeing more stake go to smaller pools. At the very beginning, I think it was across an epoch, I think it was 80% of the pools that were registered wouldn't expect to even make a single block, which is just awful for trying to get delegators and just keep running your pool. But as we get, as the D parameter decreases and, pools make more blocks, we're seeing more people get into those smaller pools as they, make at least a block per epoch seems to be a pretty significant factor in, in attracting stakes. So.
Yeah.
Yeah. So in general, we really like, we're engineers. We like data. We like providing data to the community. We see a lot of people make claims on social media about, big pools are better, small pools are better, right? We like providing the data behind that to see, what's actually the case. And really, it doesn't really matter, right? As long as you're making your blocks, if the fees are about the same, big pool and small pool, it's very negligible what the difference is. So we think what's most important is to delegate to stake pools that, match your values, right? Or, doing things with the community or, helping, set up Cardano in Africa, just, causes that are important. So.
Yeah. So I have
right.
a couple
And
of,
not just,
go
not
ahead.
just delegating. Oh, sorry. Not just, yeah, we think you should spread out your delegation also to just help further decentralization, so that was one of the reasons we wanted to, I think that's one of the reasons behind multi-delegation when, why they're developing that. But that was one of the reasons why we created the website, is so people could, even beforehand, like now you can multi-delegate by just splitting your wallet. I mean, you could split your ADA to 10 wallets and delegate to 10 different pools. So you could still do that. It's just not as easy. But by being able to make a portfolio, like, we hope that people won't just delegate to like pool 1, 2, 3 of like the same pool, right? Whenever K increases, is it going to make a difference, or are big pools just going to split and, run multiple pools and then nothing change, right? So we're kind of hoping that people will put together some sort of portfolio of, like I want to, put half my stake in this pool and half my stake in this pool, and keep all these different pool operators alive and not let it all, go to a couple big operators. So that's kind of the idea behind that.
So I think what you're doing is actually really selfless, and it's really helping the community.
I like it. Good job.
Thank you for that, because there isn't a lot of people that are that would put as much time as you guys do in creating so many different things in order to help other pools, right? Like I don't think you're putting your own pool first in order to help others. So it's great. It's amazing.
So I do have a couple of questions though. But so yeah, first, like, kudos to all the effort. It sounds amazing. First question I have is about like the parameter change, right? Like, do you have an opinion on like what would be like a sweet spot pool? Because like I said in previous episodes that like I really don't feel that the move to 500 is really going to make a big change, because I feel that the bigger pool operators are taking the steps to catch their overflow. So the biggest influx I think that we'll see is the IOG pool stake maybe moving because of their closures. But so they're going to have to find a new home, right? But as far as the bigger pools, they're taking their own steps to catch their own people. And so I don't see their stake spreading unless the people want to move. And that's even if they're listening, so there's a lot of people who are, stake it and leave it, and they're not even listening. So what is your opinion on like, what would make like the perfect kind of parameters? Do you have opinion on with all of your data?
Yeah, that's a good question. I think we in general agree it's going to be hard to get people away from just putting all their stake in the big pools. We hope multi-delegation will help that, just to make it easier to just spread your stake out across several pools, and then you can kind of diversify your holdings, and then maybe just leave it alone, right? If someone doesn't want to actively manage what pools they're in. But yeah, it's going to be hard to tell. It'll be really interesting to see how it plays out. Here in I think a couple weeks now will be the first K increase. So yeah, we'll see how that goes.
Yeah, so I feel kind of the same way as you, Amanda. I think that we're not going to see as big of a shift as we would hope. But like Willie said, we're hoping that you know, as more people, you know, get educated as to what is good for the community and the project as a whole, that, and when multi-delegation comes out, it'll just be a lot easier for people to say, oh yeah, well, you know, I want to support decentralization, so I'll just put half my stake in a big pool, and I'll put half my stake in a small pool or something like that. And I think more people will want to do something like that. And so I hope that, so I guess I think that as multi-delegation kind of comes online, that might impact things more than just a change in the parameters.
I think it's also like a learning curve for us, for stake pool operators, for delegators, because it's just so new. So we just have to educate people and like produce content like we're doing now, and hope for the best. I think, really. That, like, I would like to know, what are some positive experience that you have had in Cardano so far?
Yeah, well, that's a good question. So I think the first off was, during the ITN, all the stake pool operators helping each other. It was everybody was struggling, and we were all helping each other in the channels. The channel got too big. I mean, I would come home and there would be 1,000 or 2,000 messages. And at the start, I read every single one. Like I was, but then the channel eventually got so big, I couldn't keep up, but definitely formed some good, friendships with people working on the same thing, and just everybody supporting each other was just a really, fun experience. And I have to say, like, this interview right now is the first time I've actually met any of those people, like in person. Most of all, the people that, there's a lot of people that I know and I've talked to for, a year now. And, but I don't even really know what they look like or anything. It's just been,
well, you're coming to my next block party. Like people that I've met, like we just like hop on the Zoom and we just have a block party. It's awesome. Have a beer,
cool.
whatever.
All right, yeah. Yeah,
So,
that'll be awesome. We'll do it.
It's kind of early for you. It's like it's like 6-ish for you, which is like 10-ish for me, or whatever it is. Yeah, almost 10. So I mean, like, maybe have a coffee, not a beer. Or
some whiskey in the coffee.
Sometimes I have the coffee and you have the beer. So
yeah. There you go.
But I do have another question about your guys's stake pool school and your boxes that you set up. So you say that it's like a ready to go kind of like node that you can just like set up, so you don't have to wait for the node to build. And so like a new person, say I had this back in July and I was like, oh, I don't want to go through all of the steps and learn. I just want to take this box and, oh, here I have a node now. Okay, so how does that work for like this like security of the chain and like competency of the operator if they just have like this ready to go box and they don't know what to do with it?
Well, that's a good question. I mean, having it's kind of like installing a binary. I mean, having a pre-built thing, someone still has to know how to use it, right? But there's the thing with Docker is is set up to deploy things. Like that's what it's for. So what you can do, and you don't even have to use our pre-built Docker containers. You can use our scripts are all there in our GitLab repo. So if you want to just install Docker and then just do Docker build, you can just build it yourself. So it's all scripted to take the node, package it all up into a container and build it and put it in a container. Then that container can be deployed anywhere. So the benefit that you get is, we run multiple nodes, right? Multiple relays, multiple block producers, and just we can deploy that container to everything all at once. So that's where a lot of the benefit comes in using a containerized application. But for a new person, I think that there's a lot of benefit in learning to build the node yourself. Yeah. I think that sometimes there's some like hang-ups and things you can get stuck with. So that's one thing that our Docker scripts are helpful for, because it's, a Docker file is kind of like a bash script. It's basically running commands. So you can look through that and you can see how the node is built. And, you know, there was things I would get confused on when I was building the node. And so I thought, you know, if we put everything in a Docker container, then we'll know what we did last time, and everything will, you know, we'll have that kind of saved. So I think that there's definitely benefit for a new person to learn how to build the node, but that's going to get old after a while, and you're going to want something that is easy to deploy. So, you know, that's kind of where you balance it. Yeah. Somebody can take our Docker container and set up something in easy, but then not necessarily know what they're doing at the same time. So that's,
yeah. So I was just like listening to it and I was like, it sounds really good for like an experienced person who doesn't want to like waste time setting up something or setting up additional nodes or whatever, right? But I also think it's a little bit like too tempting for a new person to be like, oh, look at this thing, I don't have to do all the work. But then there's experience that comes from doing the work, and there's experience come from all those error codes, like what does this mean, and like all that kind of stuff, right? So then when you don't have that, and then something does error in the future, then you're like, oh God, like what is this? I've never seen this, you know? And and then now when you have like a live pool and you have people and you're screwing up, you feel really bad if something happens, you know? Yeah, it's not just you and ITN, right? Like I didn't do ITN, but like I wish I had ITN hours, because then I wouldn't be so like nerve wracked with like my people, you know? So because I feel like anytime I do something, I'm like, I touch it, I'm like, is it gonna break? You know, but
yeah, during the ITN, you know, it was easy to know who knew what they were doing based on pool performance, because if you didn't know how to fix errors, you're going to be missing blocks, you know, within days.
or if you didn't know who could fix the errors.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. So in the ITN, we actually wrote a lot of our own code and stuff to keep our nodes alive, and that, you know, a lot of people were developing those scripts and then sharing them and stuff, but we never shared our stuff, because I was kind of like, well, you know, I kind of hacked it together, it's keeping the node alive, and but it got more sophisticated, and eventually I thought, you know, I kind of wish I would have shared it, you know, I just didn't think it was good enough. So when, you know, Shelly came around, we, you know, I again started developing a new set of Python tools for managing the node and creating, you know, all our information, registering the pools, and then we had the Docker containers. And so we just decided, hey, you know, like this time around, we're going to just share everything that we're building. Maybe it's useful, maybe it's not, but we're going to, you know, at least just make that open to the community. Maybe we'll get somebody using it. Maybe we'll get some feedback. And then recently I started just doing the VIPER Stakepool school videos, just to try. Again, it's like one of those things. I didn't do it for a long time because I'm like, well, it's not perfect. It's not just right. But I thought, you know, I'm just going to go ahead and do it. I'm just going to walk through how I set up a node in different steps, and just record the screen and share it. And, you know, I've got some good feedback, some people that are asking me for the next video and that sort of thing. So, you know, just kind of a way to, you know, share what we're doing and, you know, benefit the community.
Yeah, I think it's really great. Like overall, I think what you're doing is great, and it's going to be beneficial to the community. I hope that the Docker containers are going to be like put to good use and not blow up on somebody.
And like your school, you know, for someone not technical like myself, like I would love to see those videos, you know, I would love to see more content, educating content from people that actually know a lot about, you know, the technical stuff.
It's good because like I was watching his video earlier and he built it on cloud like yours, Alex. Like mine's bare metal, but hers is cloud. So so she's learning how to maintain her cloud as well. So yeah, you can send her the video, or I can send her your video.
I think we can just put the
link.
We'll
put the link in the comment or the description.
And to the rest of the content that you are, you know, making or producing, and people can go from the link. But for like, I've got this question like about crypto, about Cardano. What does adoption look like to you?
Yeah.
Like-
So you mean like kind of when, more people have adopted cryptocurrency and are using Cardano, I look at it as we'll have some sound money. That money can't be just printed out of thin air and people, lose their buying power. So, that's one of the big things that I look forward to, just freedom, the fact that people can kind of have more freedom to manage their own, financial situation because it's decentralized. Those are the kind of things that, I look forward to as adoption becomes more mainstream.
Mm-hmm. And
Yeah, I think it's going to have to get a lot more accessible for, people that aren't technical, because even now, even just holding Cardano, it's, you have to be, very technically savvy just to purchase it and not, lose your keys. I've been trying to talk my father-in-law through purchasing Cardano, and I think he just gave up. Even with me coaching him through it, it's just for someone that doesn't, work with computers all the time, it's very daunting and also just frightening to have your money in fear losing it, right? So there's going to need to be services that just make it much easier to just purchase, as easy as getting fiat currency.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I think it's quite scary, but it's super easy, so we just overcomplicating it, kind of. So I know it's scary to lose your money, but if you are careful, I mean, if you are storing your passwords and that offline, it's really easy, and it's better. It's better to like look after your own funds. So I mean, it is great. It's great, and like we are scared because we've learned how to deal with banks, in school. We've learned how to deal with fiat money. So it's something totally new, but it's really easy if you are, into, not even if you are into computers. It's just with apps today, it's super easy to open like Daedalus wallet, to open your wallet, to open an exchange where you can purchase, the crypto, and then just send it over.
I think that getting onboarded to the exchange is the most challenging part. Like, they have to validate you and everything. So I have a suspicion that's probably where your father-in-law is getting the rub, like getting onboarded, submitting that driver's license and getting kickback or like whatever, like that's a pain in the ass. So, but once that all gets established, then it's like super fine, because you're like just connecting your bank account to Coinbase or whatever, and then sending Coinbase to your Binance wallet, that kind of, but getting that Binance account is like, that's where it's at. So it's like, but yeah.
But like with PayPal and like other, like institutional firms or whatever, it's going to be even easier. It's going to be really easy.
Yeah.
If people don't want to hold their own, funds, they can use PayPal, or like there is this bank Avanti, first bank in Wyoming, in general. I think this is like the first bank that is dealing with fiat money and with crypto. So I think it's just going to be easier and easier to normal people to get into crypto. That's what I hope anyway.
Yeah. Do you guys still kind of like hold your breath when you hit that send button to like your other wallet? Like,
oh yeah, I always do a test transaction.
I don't do the test transaction anymore. Probably should, but I mean, I still send like 10,000 ADA. I'm like, all right, and you're like looking at it. Okay, what's there? So
what's even worse is when you were putting the pledge together, right? And you're using like. I'm using the Python tools that I built to send the money. I'm like, oh my gosh, that's nerve-wracking.
Yeah.
But that means you trust yourself,
Yeah.
Your code is good.
That's right.
working. So and you haven't lost any money, so it's good.
Yeah. This has been like really fun, guys. Like I really enjoyed meeting you. I'm like honored to be like the first like face that you've seen like face to face, like meet somebody. That's super cool.
Yeah.
Did you guys have any other like questions for us or like anything?
Final remarks or anything?
What are you know, what are your favorite like, you know, being kind of more the non-technical route, you know, what have you learned, you know, since getting into Cardano? What keeps you, you know, running a stake pool?
So like, I'm literally the worst with an, you know, IT stuff, and I'm super not technical, but for me, it was like the biggest challenge of them all, because I had no clue how to open a terminal in the first place. And I'm being honest now, I'm being really honest now, right? So for me, it was just like mission impossible. But then I've rang an IT guy, I'm Polish and he's in Poland. And I said to him, how do you see me running the stake pool? Like, do you think I can succeed? And he said, well, I mean, I'm not being funny, but I don't think it's a good thing to, you know, start a stake pool when you like don't even know how to open a terminal. I'm like, you telling me I can do it? I'm gonna do it. Also, if someone's telling you you're not good enough or you're not going to make it, you're gonna make sure that you will make it. And I'm like that. I'm just super determined, and I'm gonna make sure I'm gonna make this work. So like 2 days ago, 2 or 3 days ago, I had to re-register my pool, and there was some kind of I don't know, mismatch like in data. You know, the certificate that I've sent wasn't the one that reached the network or whatever. So for someone not really that technical, I'm like, what's happening? My relay is down. Oh my God. What's happening, you know? And then I've panicked, and then I've like sent the message on this like stake pool operator support group on Telegram, and I'm like, hey guys, I really don't know what to do. Can someone help me? And there was like, you know, dozens of people just jumping like, hey, check this, check that, check this, and this is just like a learning curve. And like for me, it's just super fascinating, because I'm learning new things all the time, and like to see people that you don't even know helping you, you know, it's what you said before, like this is just amazing how the community is just helping, you know, everyone. If you got if you're running into trouble or whatever, they will make sure that you're gonna be okay. So this is just amazing. So like, I don't want to fail, and I'm not going to fail, and my stake pool is not going to fail. So you know, that's what keeps me going. I want to deliver good ROI to people. I want to make sure that people like me know that they can learn, and like, don't let anyone else tell you that you can do it, because you can. And I mean, everyone starts somewhere, right? Like, I'm sure you guys, you know, first time you've seen some I don't know, codes or like some sort of information, you at first had no clue what it is, right? Like everyone needs to start somewhere. So like with me, even though I'm not technical at all, I know I can make it. So yeah. And with Amanda, I mean, she's not that technical. She had some knowledge like before, not about Linux and that, but like, what about you, Amanda?
Yeah, I don't know, you know, so like I can do it, I guess, but I'm not a programmer. Like I didn't do computer science as a major, but my biomedical engineering had some computer science classes, right? So it's like, I remember doing that, but I mean, that was like 10 years ago, and why would I need to code right now, you know? So looking at this kind of stuff is like, okay, I remember what these words mean, you know, but it's like, no. So I had to kind of like restudy that. But the question is like, what keeps us motivated to keep going? Well, like I decided to pick something to invest in for, you know, like kind of like if you were investing in like stocks for like
Mhm.
for my kids' schools in the future or retirement or whatever, I chose a Cardano, you know. So and then like because I have a very like entrepreneur type attitude. And like I said, my husband kind of like threw me into this and I'm like, okay, you know, so I'm just like, we're doing it. So but yeah, it was just kind of like a form of investment for me and for the kids. So we're all in. So yeah.
Yeah, that's
Great.
awesome. Yeah, and you mentioned about the first time you look at, you know, some new code or something, not knowing what's going on and having to learn. Yeah, I think that's pretty much like every day as an engineer, but especially, I mean, if you're a good programmer with a lot of experience and you start digging in some of this Haskell code, yeah, that's like learning a new.
Yeah,
that is confusing.
I've heard people talk about the Haskell and the Plutus, and I'm just like, just stop. You might as well send me to like Jupiter or something. Just no. I mean, like we talked to the people from Loveless Academy, and they're going to be doing like the Plutus and the Marlowe stuff, and I'm like, that's cool. I will watch your channel. You know, so, but yeah, that's going to be cool.
You know, we're all at different levels, but like we're all learning. Even I guess the top developers, you know, when something's going wrong, like you need to learn how to fix it. And if you don't know how to fix it, you just gotta learn. So like everyone starts somewhere and everyone is running into some sort of problems with like, you know, with this stuff. So and it's good to be, you know, learning in general.
Always learn.
Yeah.
So all right, let's do final remarks. What do you guys think? Closing remarks for you guys.
Well, just thank you for having us on the show. I think that your channel's been pretty fun to watch so far, and so you guys are doing a great job. And so it was a blast to come on today and be able to talk with you guys and talk about the projects that we're doing. So thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much for coming and sharing. But and thank you for getting up so early. Like I know it was a struggle to manage the time zones with Korea, UK, and East Coast, right? So or
mountain
it works.
time.
It works.
Time.
Yeah, mountain time. Yeah, it works good for me though, because I have 5 kids, so I get up and do the call before they're up, so that's why it's quiet. My house is not normally this quiet. So.
I used to get up at 5 a.m. for Alex because she was working at the salon and she could only do calls at a certain time. So I would get up at 5 a.m. before the kids got up because they get up at 6:30 and they have to get off to school. And so I would get up like super early before they woke up. So, but now I do later. So
thank you so much for taking your time. It was really a fun conversation. Thank you. And
thank you.
I thank you for everything that you're doing for the community. We will make sure that we're just gonna add the links to the description,
and
with
share your cool school. It sounds super cool.
yeah. And hopefully we will talk to you like later after the K parameter change, because like for me it's great to have another opinion of someone who's like super technical and like who has a lot of data and can like back your opinion on something, and like it will be super cool. So I hope we'll see you again on the show.
Yeah, we'll talk to you after the key change, because I mean, like, now I know you would collect data. I like to watch Umed's channel because he's a data guy too, but now you have data, so I'm gonna be like watching you too. So
you have
data. That'd be awesome. We'll definitely do that.
Okay, guys. All right. So all right, guys, thanks, and we'll see you guys later. Bye.
All right, thanks. Bye.